Hey, Brigham with Drift. In this video, 4 things I think you should know about the Bataleon Party Wave Plus. I rode the Party Wave Plus last year quite a bit. I really enjoyed it. They changed the shape for this year. I don't love how this shape looks. I prefer the older one, but this board rides better. This is an improvement, and I'm excited to tell you about those changes. Before I get into it, check out my specs and my biases below so you know where I'm coming from as a rider. We own all the boards we talk about and get them in a variety of conditions before we tell you what we think. And as a reminder, we're giving away a set of drift boards to a lucky subscriber once we hit 1,000. I think that'll happen in the next couple days, and we really appreciate your support. All right, number 1. This is really fun to carve. You've got that extra width underfoot, a decent amount of camber, but I think the biggest thing with this compared to the previous version is the changes on the tail. So the old Party Wave Plus, on a hard hillside carve on a groomer, that hill edge would lose its bite and it would skip. And it happened to me a lot, and I found it really annoying to the point where I really didn't want to ride that board on a groomer, at least not at any speed. I have not been able to replicate that on this board. I would say this locks in quite a bit better than that board did. Really good for any battalions. The only one that I've ridden that I think is better is this Cruiser Plus, and if you want to check out my review of that, I'm kind of comparing the two because they're sort of similar in purpose. So you have a lot of width underfoot here, so you can really lean it over. You've got a pretty big side cut radius and a fairly long effective edge for the length. So it's actually not that turny, but it locks in and rips a carve pretty good. And again, that tail, this new tail and the Cruiser Plus is similar. It has a very minimal amount of 3D shaping. The contact point is way out towards the end, and the sidekick where they lift the contact point, it's tiny. It's got to be the smallest that I've seen on any battalion boards. And then the 3D shaping overall, you push down on those edges and there is a little bit of uplift there, but it's minimal. It's minimal on the Cruiser Plus as well, but I think there's even less on this Party Wave Plus. So I think that really helps that back end lock in. Number 2, float. Solid float. You know, most of your float on this, you're meant to size down. You got a lot of width. It's one of the wider volume shifted boards out there. You're getting a lot of that float from that width and that volume. I would say if you're a bigger rider, like size 12 foot and up, 6'2" and up, around 200 pounds and up, even in the 157, depending on your conditions, you might feel like this isn't enough board. This was good for me in the steeps and in anything like 6 inches of fresh snow or less, but if it was deeper than that or low angle, I wanted more board. Mostly I wanted more nose on this thing. So, but you've heard me talk about the limitations of volume shifted, especially for a bigger guy. In some situations, there's no replacement for length and for some more nose. The third thing on the negative side, and this might be kind of obvious because this is true of every snowboard pretty much, but the nastier the snow gets, the less fun you're going to have on this. It really likes a clean groomer, some clean fresh pow, or at least soft tracked up snow. But the more firm and bumpy and chunky it gets, the more this is going to get tossed around. And that's in part the 3BT, but I think also the more width you have underfoot, the more a board gets kicked around in the chunky, nasty stuff. So awesome board, but not going to be your pick for nasty snow. I would recommend a more traditional shape for that. And then the fourth thing, in comparison to the Cruiser Plus, these are pretty similar boards as far as their purpose. They're both meant to be good in the powder and fun cruising and carving on a groomer. They both do that. In my personal opinion, I prefer the shape of the Cruiser Plus. You've got a wide nose, a little bit more length, and a narrower waist with a little bit of a smaller side cut radius, so it's a little turnier. And then quite a bit more taper, I think, is one of the biggest things. I just think that shape in general provides a better overall feel than this shape, where you've got kind of that bigger side cut radius, long effective edge for the length, but pretty stubby, and then a lot of width underfoot. But if that volume shifted thing is your flavor and you know you like it, which I do, I don't dislike it, I just feel like I like that better. If you do like it, this is absolutely one of the best options out there. It already was, but I think this new version is even better. You can watch Gimbal God's review of it. He talks about just the standard version of the Party Wave, and he really likes that. That seems like it's enough board for him. I haven't tried that yet, but that seems like a great option too, and it's quite affordable as well. But this one, yeah, really liked it, but I would probably, in general, I'd probably grab that first myself. That's the Party Wave Plus from Bataleon. Hit me up in the comments with any questions, and thanks for watching.